Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. That's Low Alabama for you folks in Hong Kong this morning. With
Good
me
morning.
this morning, my good friend Virginia Green Nowling, who is a candidate for the
Pike County District Court Judge.
District
That's
Court
right.
Judge, and of course she's been out working diligently, getting ready. Of course, at the same time you were trying to run a law practice.
I'm self-employed.
Well, it's okay. We got it.
Little technical difficulty
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed, and so trying to run a campaign and run an office, it's busy.
Yeah.
And be a
Yeah.
wife
Get your
and
You get your mic over there right this second. Where I was providing. You can't hear speak. Of course, I want to mention a lot going on today. Rain galore out there this morning, and should be cooler. In fact, you can tell it's getting cooler.
it is getting cooler.
So cool weather coming in here for just tonight. I think the low tonight could be in the low 30s.
Don't tell me that.
That's right. But then we'll warm back up and have a great weekend. But this, just tomorrow, this rain's going to bring in a cold front, and it's going to go right through here. But temperatures tonight will be around 30 degrees, 32 degrees.
Well, I've got all my summer clothes pulled out, and I've still got all my winter clothes out, so I'm ready for anything.
I don't know if it's going to freeze, but folks are saying I've got to bring my plants in. My wife will be calling me. She's out of town. She'll be calling me, telling me that to run down a bunch of plants.
You're going to be busy tonight.
You know, I'll tell her this, that if they hadn't made it through the winter, this winter, they're not going to make it. But
we've had a cold one.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, want to mention several things going on in Troy, guys, with baseball going on, and
Yep.
the proms. I know they've had the prom at Charles Simpson. I don't know about the other schools, but that's going on. And all you folks out there looking for your tux, they've got them at. You can drop by my good friends in Ozark and pick up or be sized up exactly, but with your prom attire, and of course Mike Barefoot, Barefield in Ozark is about as good as you're going to get when it comes to renting tuxedos and then having them tailored instead of stepping on them. How many times have you been out there or been to a wedding or a prom or whatever and seen people stepping all over their pants?
I've seen it
That's
a
the
lot.
worst thing in the world. Good morning, you're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Mike Amos calling in. Mike, I got a pretty girl on our show today who represents the law and order in Pike County.
Good morning, Mike.
Virginia Green Nowling's on our show, and of course you know her quite well.
He knows me as Ginger.
That's right.
I grew up with her sister, Sally.
Yeah, that's right.
My twin's best friend.
That's right.
You're exactly right.
How are the babies?
Well, we're doing all right. We're just, every day is different, but we're doing pretty good. Dad got to see them over Easter weekend. They're growing up, and we're finding a way to raise them.
Yeah. Is it raining in Birmingham this morning?
Nobody really tells you how to do certain things, but we're getting pretty good at things, I think.
They don't come with a book?
No.
With a manual? This is the manual right here.
Yeah. Well, you know, the bad thing.
The biggest thing is just trying to get them ready for school every morning.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, goodness.
Exactly right. Of course, is it raining in Birmingham?
Yeah, that's what I was telling my wife. When we went to bed last night, it was like 77 degrees, and now it's like 46.
Yeah. How low is it? It's going to be right at freezing tonight.
36 tonight, I think.
Well, good. Hopefully, I noticed that the azaleas were starting to be in full bloom up there, so hopefully everything will be good and won't freeze.
Maybe they won't get flash frozen tonight.
Of course, it's been a great year for azaleas. You know, the azaleas stayed with us, it seemed like, for a couple of weeks. And I was talking to my wife about it. Would it make it to Easter? And I believe the azaleas were in full bloom.
And I had
during Easter.
camellias blooming in my backyard.
No question. Mike even had azaleas in his backyard.
Yeah, I think that's the worst pollen I've ever experienced this year. It seems like it lasts forever.
It's been bad.
Yeah.
We were finally getting rid of it, I hope, up here.
Of course, Mike's calling from Birmingham this morning, and we'll also be expecting our good friend Mike Phelps for all you folks that have. And I tell you, I have had so many comments about his knowledge of health and eating right and doing the right things to get started with a good health trend, this year. And
It's springtime and it's bathing suit weather.
yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Maybe we can learn something from him.
I know, of course, spring break, I taught some people that went to South Florida for down to Disney World and down there, and he said you would not have believed the crowds. He said it took an hour or so just to get a 10-mile drive to get to the Disney World. So it's crowded everywhere, and people.
Showing on 30A, all the people from Atlanta. Apparently, that's the worst crowd that comes down. Is everybody from Atlanta? It's just so many people, and the Publix and watercolors each side, and literally it was like 20 deep trying to check out.
Oh yeah, it's been
The traffic
really,
on 231 has been bad. This
exactly.
past weekend, it was terrible.
Been the worst I've ever seen it, and of course, they've got to do something about that intersection out there. That goes into Publix. They've got to they got to get a right lane out there somewhere.
They got to build a turn lane.
Yeah, because see, people that are going to Publix are going straight. And then let's say you want to take a right, which most people do, a right or a left. You've got to have a turn lane.
One
there.
more lane, yeah.
And hopefully.
My dad, I was thinking about you the other day when I was past the Charles Center, heading up Crow Hill, and they really do need a guardrail where people just don't ride off the cliff.
I have talked to.
Oh my goodness!
I have talked to the.
I was looking at all the new stuff at Troy University, getting built and stuff like that, and the road getting put in, and I just wasn't paying attention, and I could see how easily somebody could go off that road.
And if they go off, it 99% fatal. I mean,
Now, where
because
are y'all talking
it's coming from Charles Simpson down.
Huge,
Oh yeah.
gully.
After you pass the softball complex there at Charles Simpson, and then I want the public to take a look at that, because I have talked to this administration. I talked to the administration before. Said we got to get a guardrail there, and let me tell you what's going to happen is a kid's going to go off there, or whoever is going to go off there and going to be killed because there was not a guardrail there to keep them up, because it is probably a 30-foot drop off at least, and that's quite a drop off if you're in an automobile or a truck.
Oh my gosh.
And it hadn't happened yet, but it's something that could happen. And we spend our money on a lot of other things. Why not a guardrail from the softball complex at Charles Simpson down to the bottom of the hill there at Elm Street?
It's a good idea.
And but you're exactly right. And some kid's going to be talking on their phone, or they're going to be looking somewhere else, or being distracted and lose control and not be able to bring it back in. And could be a real tragedy. And I'm glad you brought that up, Mike.
Well, no, I was just thinking about it when I was driving through Troy. It really is dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I've had some close calls before, but I sure do. I'm very conscious of it, and it's just not a lot of ground there. It just drops completely off. I mean, the right of way there is probably no more than 4 or 5 feet at the most.
Yeah.
And then straight down.
Exactly right. And of course, Virginia is not only busy with her law practice, but very busy with running for election. And have you found people to be very receptive so far?
So far, listen, that's been one of the best things about running for public office, is meeting new people. It's been fun. Yeah, and if I come and knock on your door,
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
But putting names with faces and that kind of thing, it's been fun.
No question about it, and you do get to see a lot of people now. Where are you? Tell me exactly what is it? All of Pike County?
It's Pike County. It's just
All right, so you don't have to go outside the county.
it's just Pike County.
Of course, you were born and raised on Michelle Horn Road. Of course, the daughter of the late great Burton Green, and everybody who's anybody out there got to know who Burton Green was.
A lot of stories about him out there.
Well, I tell you what, he was one of my heroes, and you didn't have to be sitting here for me to say that. He was a guy that I grew up admiring and wanting to be like, you know.
Well,
I remember when he had an old gray Chevrolet truck, car, and everybody would pile into his car and get a ride home from basketball practice. And he used to let me ride sometimes because he'd be taking somebody home over toward Orion Street.
Right.
And he'd always want to stop by the Troy Maid Bakery and get some
like
donuts and some milk.
Yep, that sounds
He'd come
like
out
him.
with, I reckon they bought it mainly for him. He'd come out there with a quart of milk and a bunch of donuts. And poor old me didn't have any money, and every now and then he'd throw me one, you know.
That's funny, yeah. He loved it. He one of his favorite things was chocolate milk.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And,
but and Mike, is nothing better than an ice cold glass of milk and a good donut in it.
Well, back then they just put your milk by the door, wasn't they?
Well, oh yeah, well that was back, you know, the milkman would, but I mean, you could buy milk at the donut shop too. And I tell you, it was wonderful donuts. They were real small, but they were really good. And you know, they stayed open and they were busy all the way into the night. The bakery was, you know, because people would come by and buy bread.
Oh,
they would
really?
buy bread, homemade bread, and you know, it would be chopped up, you know, for sandwiches. But bread was a big thing, you know.
Wow.
Of course, you know, you had colonial bread, you had wholesome bread back then, and you know, and most all of it was, you know, bread didn't stay on the counter but a day or maybe 2 days. And
Milk
you
and
know,
bread,
yeah,
cheese,
that's right.
Burton graduated from Troy High or Charles Henderson?
Charles Henderson, he was a real good football player, and of course he was, you know.
But I mean, when did Charles Henderson start?
19 around 60 or maybe 59 or 60.
So, and Daddy, he graduated from high school in
Yeah.
61, I believe.
Yeah, and it was his grade might have been the first one in there. I can remember Andy Harrell was the president of that class, that senior class. I can remember that, and of course.
Your mom was from Montgomery?
She is. She grew up on East 4th Street in Montgomery.
She went to Robert E. Lee High School, Mike. And boy, you talk about a dynasty in football. They had one, no question. But of course, you know that, and they ought to call that little community instead of Shellhorn, call it Greenwood or something, because all those Greens lived out there.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and of course, all the way around to even into Youngblood. Is that right?
We spent Easter in Youngblood this year.
Did you really?
Yep, at Elaine Jones's house, and we, you know, we're all cousins, and
sure.
we gathered at her house and had a big Easter egg hunt,
Oh,
and I ate
that
more
was
than
fun.
I've eaten in a really long time.
I bet it was fun, no question about it. And you know,
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of John Curry Key, all that group.
And you look at Youngblood Lake and you say, how could anybody ski in that lake? Hey, there were people skiing every Sunday, and that's how you girls learned how to ski. All you girls know how to ski, don't you?
Growing up, we spent a lot of time out there at Youngblood Pond. Yeah.
And a lot of people might not realize this, but Sally, your sister, actually skied on the Auburn ski team.
She did. She did.
And was an excellent skier. And of course, you know, Michael's sister Camille was a good skier. You know, they good, but I never saw her do this. But Burton, your daddy, could ski barefooted.
Yep.
And one of the reasons he had big old long foot, but one thing, but he could, and very few people could ski barefooted.
Yeah, I don't know how he did
He and
it.
William Barbary, I think, maybe Jerry Shirley, and maybe I'm trying to think of some other guys that they used to go out there and ski barefooted.
Can you
I had a hard
imagine?
enough time skiing with 2 skis. And they're skiing barefoot. And of course, Burton, you know, he was a good skier.
He
And of course,
was.
Ehrlich, I reckon, probably was a good skier too, wasn't he?
I think I would imagine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
But
about
all you
that.
girls grew up skiing in Youngblood Lake.
We did. We had a lot of fun. Jane and Alec Whaley.
Yeah.
Little Alec was our
Yeah.
age. You know, we had a good time.
That's
out
right,
there.
though. Ehrlich wasn't raised out there. He just later on moved out there when he got married. Isn't that right?
Right. I think so.
And of course, everybody knows who Alec Whaley is, the owner of Whaley Construction Company right here in Troy, one of the largest construction companies in this part of the country.
Very
Who would have
nice
thought?
people.
Who would have thought that a local company, you know, small company, of course, you know, Whaley Construction had been here a long time. You know, his daddy started it, you know, and had it here. But when Troy University started expanding, they were building all kinds of buildings and you know, even the stadium and so forth. This was a local construction company that was building these
Right.
big structures. And
Well, they do fine work. That's
yeah.
for sure.
Now the Trojan Arena was built by Whaley and them worked on it, but the main contractor was out of Birmingham. And but what I'm saying, most of all this new construction over the years has been done by Whaley
Right.
Construction.
Very nice people.
So Whaley Construction and Whaley Pecan, those are 2 different families.
Yeah. Now you know when they changed the name of the theater there at Troy. They named
Claudia Crosby?
Yeah, it's Are you related to Claudia Crosby?
No.
You weren't. It was on the other side.
yeah, it's-
On Jane's other side. Is that right?
I don't want to get it wrong, but Aunt
Yeah,
Dot. She
yeah,
was somehow related
yeah.
to Aunt Dot. Dot
Okay, I
Green.
got you.
Yeah.
And of course, Claudia Crosby Theater.
But she would come to a lot of our Christmases,
Exactly right.
our green Christmases.
Of course, our show is brought to you by our good friends at Troy Bank and Trust Company right here in Troy, Alabama, one of the largest local banks in Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the largest local bank in Alabama with 12 locations.
Wow.
Can you could you name a
I
few?
knew you were going to ask me that.
You think you could name a few? First
Troy,
of all, we got
Troy.
3 in Troy.
Auburn,
Yes,
Dothan,
yes,
Elba,
yes,
Brundage.
yes. You gonna win the prize?
No, I'm not, because I can't, I can't think of the rest of them. Ozark? Did I say
No,
Ozark?
no, we don't have one in Ozark. Ozark's got a bunch of banks though.
You tell me the rest.
Enterprise, did you say Enterprise? Elba?
I was thinking Enterprise. I said Elba.
You said Goshen.
I don't think I said Goshen.
But there are 12 locations to choose from, and very soon, on down the line, it's going to be another one added to it. So a couple of more places to choose from. But Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. And of course, want to mention Town and Country Flooring this morning, and our good friend Scott and Lana been busy. Scott told me, Scott Hartley, the owner of Town and Country, that they are really selling a lot of these grills. You know, they've got a
I've
grill
heard
there
about those grills.
that is the American green egg.
The American.
The American made, that's why they call it the American made green egg. And it's more reasonably priced. It is very good. You don't miss anything from that new big egg they've got. We can call it an egg. It's shaped like an egg, but they're in the grill business in a big way. And of course, for flooring, nobody's got you covered any better than Town and Country Flooring. Troy University is on the road at Jacksonville, and of course, everybody knows what happened in Jacksonville about a little less than a month ago. They had
Just a few weeks ago.
a few weeks ago had a huge tornado
Category 3.
destroyed the baseball field, part of the gymnasium. Just several buildings were damaged, and they're going to play this game in Oxford tonight, Mike, which is not far down the road from you. You could probably drive it in less than an hour.
Very blessed that all the students were on spring break. That could have been a disaster.
Wow.
Exactly right. You're exactly right, because that was a terrible tornado. And of course, let me tell you a little story about tornadoes. And I don't want to get you to get emotional about this, but Christmas night, how many years ago?
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
A tornado went right through your mom and daddy's house.
It went through. It came up. I think it went through Goshen, following the Conecuh River.
Yeah.
And came, and it hit our house. It
Yeah.
hit my mom's house, and it destroyed
Yeah,
William Fannon's house. William
and it was
Fannon's
right,
house.
and it was right across the street.
Yeah.
Then it went on and went straight on
Brantley-
over, and the Brantley Trailer
Brantley
Park.
Trailer Park, yes, caused a lot of devastation.
And you know, here it is. You're fixing to eat Christmas dinner or supper, whatever.
Well, what happened was that we had our family Christmas over at my mother's house, and we were cleaning up, washing dishes, and it was probably about 10:15, and we were all exhausted because we had Christmas, Santa Claus, and all that. It's just the end of the day, everybody's exhausted.
Yeah.
And got home, and it had started just pouring down rain, a torrential downpour.
Yeah.
And I never thought about a tornado. And I had gotten a new iPhone for Christmas, and it had those weather alerts or whatever. And I was lying in the bed, and my phone started.
Might have saved your life.
Well, I think it did, because I was like, "Who's calling me?
Yeah, yeah.
What did I do? And so I looked. And,
About what time was
I thought
that?
it was
Do you
Mama
know?
tell me. I forgot.
Was that,
it was about 10:25.
Yeah.
And it said a tornado had been spotted in our area. So we turned the TV on, and they said in the River Ridge area. And so my dog were howling and acting strange, and we live in I bought my grandmother's old house, and she had a root.
It was right down your
cellar.
alley.
Yeah.
It was heading right down your alley.
We got in that. We had just a few minutes.
You had a what now?
It's a root cellar,
Yeah,
just a small little
Sure.
cellar we had when we got in that, and
y'all have been told to get in that over the years, haven't you?
everything. When we were on the way to the root cellar, the power went out, and it sounded like a jet engine. Everybody says it sounds like a train.
Yeah.
But it sounded to me like
loud,
a jet
isn't it?
engine just sucking like a.
That had to be a scary moment.
I was terrified, and anyway, got down in there, and
where was your daddy doing all this time?
he had to stay in the bed
Yeah.
because he couldn't get up.
Uh-huh.
And so it didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But the first person came out. My husband is in law enforcement, so
Sure.
he went, and it was pitch black, and he went to check on my parents and my family, and then somebody came. I heard somebody calling, my name, and it was Terry Moats.
Yeah.
Who lived down the road, and he was coming to make sure everybody was okay.
And I tell you what, a lot of trees. Whoa,
we
I'm
lost
talking
a lot
about
of
big trees.
Yeah.
And I looked in there. I came out there the next day after you heard about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, came out and were helping, trying to help move things. But I looked in the living room, and I really believe the Christmas tree was still standing.
It was.
It was still standing, and there was some gifts still.
At my mother's, right.
There was some gifts still underneath the tree.
The tornado she had a big bay window in front where the Christmas tree was in front of, and it just blew all those out,
Exactly.
And Jerry Spurlock was another one that came to
Little
check,
Jerry,
and to check on my mother, and I think he crawled through the window, just stepped through the bay window to come inside.
But it's just amazing how your life can be changed so immediately. With a hurricane, a tornado like that, and it can happen to anybody, anywhere.
Yeah, and William and Nell were so lucky. Because it blew the top of their house off.
Were they in the house?
Yes.
During
they were able to, I think, get in the hallway.
But they at least did that then.
But it was terrible.
Yeah.
They had to completely rebuild their house.
I tell you, it's just really, and there's stories and stories and stories about that. And Troy had been sort of lucky. Let me knock on wood somewhere. Maybe knock on my head. Because Troy is on a hill, Troy is actually, all right, but there's a hill, Troy Hill on the west side, the big hill coming into Troy is right below your house.
Okay.
You remember that? That's a downhill.
Right, yeah.
All right, so Troy's actually on the hill there.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that Troy's been fortunate over the years because they're on a hill and the bad weather hits and it sort of shoots off to the right or the left and it doesn't go straight up the hill, you know, and so
Right.
forth. But in your case,
it just
did.
followed the river.
Exactly.
It followed the river.
And because and see if you'll ever notice, all right, coming from Brundage, a big hill coming up to
yeah.
Troy. All right, coming from west, the hill starts about where you live
Right.
on Shellhorn Road.
Well, it's definitely coming from Enterprise.
Oh yeah, a big hill coming from Enterprise, and then a big hill coming from Trojan Terrace. Everybody realizes how you got to go up the hill
Coming into Troy.
coming into Troy the old way, and then on the other side the bypass way too. So Troy is on a hill, and it's protected a little bit. You don't hear of as many tornadoes that actually hit
Right.
in the Troy perimeter. You know.
I got to tell you, Mike, I get a little jumpy now when
I bet you
Josh
do.
Johnson and them say it's a emergency weather day. Or,
Yeah. Well, I could tell you a story right here where this young man here, life was saved, and he was trying to drive back from Tuscaloosa on a Sunday in a driving rainstorm.
Oh.
And he's got a story to tell, and it's a story that it will get to you, I promise you. But,
It's not tornado related. It's hydroplaning related.
I know, but again though, bad weather, you need to get inside.
Dad, I mean, I was living on 15th Street when it hit Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He sure was.
That was devastating.
How close were you? Now
I was
you.
very lucky that I was driving to Birmingham that day, and I mean, everything around me was totally gone when I got back.
Yeah, and we're talking about right in the alleyway of that huge tornado that killed several people.
Category 5 that killed 50 people.
It's horrible.
Johnny Williams, my good friend, was driving across right there on 15th Street, Mike, and he saw people actually being blown up in the air, and he was very fortunate. He was very fortunate, and
yeah, the scariest thing about it is I was working at the University of Alabama at the time, and it was just such craziness as far as like cell phone towers and being able to get up with employees and stuff. At one time, there's like 500 people missing from the University of Alabama that nobody had any contact with. So at one time, they didn't know how many people. There was a lake across the street from me on 15th Street too, and they thought a lot of people were in the lake.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a crazy situation.
That's terrible.
Well, and of course, there was a story, an Alabama football player and his girlfriend were actually in the closet.
Called Carson Tinker.
Yeah.
You know, he's the long snapper for the Jacksonville Jaguars now.
And well, that's a sad story because he lost his girlfriend. You know, she was
terrible.
actually blown out of his arms, and he's a big, strong football player, and it's just
They
unreal.
blew him into the field about 50 yards, and he fell on his head.
Yeah. You know, it's just unreal how somebody says, how did the wind bend that steel structure? You know, bend it.
Right.
Boy, that'll give you respect right there.
You know,
And before the terrible tornado that hit your house on Christmas Day, had y'all ever had any close calls before?
Never.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
And I think mainly because you live on a hill. But this time
we had one of those trailers that you can put like a four-wheeler or lawnmower or something on. It blew it, and it hit a tree and bent it around the tree.
Oh, that's unreal.
And Blake had a canoe that was across the road. It was broken in half and across the road in a tree.
At that time, Jerry Spurlock lived out there, didn't he? Or
I think they had already moved at that time.
And then of course, but
he
there was
took
several
close
people
contact
though
back there,
that right there in that that's where Burton and all his friends, Marvin Blumentritt, he grew up with Marvin, Andy Harrell, he grew up with Andy Harrell,
Judd Colley.
Judd Colley grew up with Judd Colley, and all those buddies, all those
lived across
guys.
the street.
Yeah, you grew up around those guys, didn't you?
Yeah, nice. Great
How
people.
sharp guys were they?
They were great.
I mean, I don't know if you could find any sharper guys. You know every girl in town wanted to go out with those guys.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know about Burton, but Dr. Marvin Blumentritt was one of them, and you've grown up around Dr. Marvin Blumentritt, and people they don't see the personalities of these guys like Dr. Blumentritt until you around them in a social atmosphere.
Right. Well, they were always good friends to my dad, and
Loved to go hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin loved to hunt. Your daddy loved
turkey
to hunt.
hunt.
Yeah.
Daddy liked mostly to walk in the woods. He
Yeah.
just liked to walk in the woods, and Dr. Marvin likes
Yeah.
turkeys, and he likes to take pictures.
Exactly.
He's
yeah.
good, very
In
good at
fact,
photography.
see, he grew up a huge outdoorsman.
I hope he
because his
doesn't
daddy-
mind me saying that.
Well, his daddy was such a big outdoorsman.
Yeah.
His daddy and mom and daddy came from Germany,
Right,
and
yep.
Lived in he grew up right next door to my wife, Carol's a house on
West-
Pine Street, or right there. Some people call it Murphy Street.
Right.
But he had been out in the woods all his life. His daddy had taken him out there all his life, and he went up to Jeff Sorrell's property and hunted deer before there were any deer around here. Jeff Sorrell from Saco, Alabama, brought most of the deer into Pike County or that part of Bullock County, and and the guy that looked after his property and that was his game warden, his name was Winfred Sorry James.
Oh no.
And we were just talking, Dr. Bluechip, Marvin and I were talking not too long ago. He said, now you know things must not have been good if the guy that oversees your property's name was Sorry. That was his nickname.
You're kidding. Oh my
That was his
goodness.
nickname. But those guys all grew up.
I can understand he brought deer to Pike County. Pike County didn't already have tons of deer already.
Back in the 60s, early 60s.
I mean, did they hunt the deer till there was no population or something?
Most of the people would go up to North Alabama around Centerville. In fact, Rusty Gibson and Marvin and a lot of those guys, that's where their daddies would take them to deer hunt. And there wasn't a lot of deer up there, but that's where the deer population was, up in North Alabama. And there was at one time, Mike, I've been out in the woods a lot when I was young. I never saw a deer. I never saw a deer. Now I got to shoo them out of my yard. They're eating all my plants.
They will eat a garden.
And now,
I mean,
now where you live, you see a deer every day, don't you?
Just about.
Now, and another thing, I would like to make this very perfectly clear. Her husband is the game warden. Is that right?
He is. He is.
Does he get up before you do every morning?
You know, he really doesn't. He for work during hunt
I mean, does
season,
he feel like
yes.
he's got to be out there at 6 o'clock in the
Yes.
morning?
Oh yeah. Before that.
Yeah, but he's smart enough to not sneak up on hunters, is he? I mean, to me, a game warden's got to be careful because he could get shot accidentally.
Listen, I don't get involved in what he does, but
Yeah.
I know that he sneaks up on me all the time in the house. So I know he walks real quietly. So I can't imagine what he's like in the woods.
But what I'm saying is, hey, a lot of times, Mike, you've heard me do this many times. I'll go out in the woods on our property, and I'll say, "Man in the woods, man in the woods, man in the woods."
Be sure you have on some
and let
orange.
them know because there's somebody.
You need to start wearing orange. But
Yeah.
see, you're not an animal hunter. Dad's a tree hunter.
Yeah, I'm out there hunting trees. But you know what? I found that to be fun to do. Cut down a tree instead of kill a deer.
Exactly.
And I've said it so many times on this show, and I think I might have said I was with your husband not long ago, and a guy asked me. Of course we lease property for people to hunt, and they come from all over, South Florida and wherever. And a guy asked me the other day, he says, Mr. Amos, he said, do you hunt? I said, no, I don't. I do very little. I used to, go up to Skin Oak and be on those dog drives, years
Right.
and years ago. It was a lot of fun. Me and old Hank Jr. used to hunt together.
Oh my goodness.
But I told him, I said, but sir, I'll tell you one thing. If they hunted cow, I'd go every day. And boy, what a cow I ate last night, man.
Oh my goodness.
I was out, Mike, at your favorite steak place last night and had a big, fine filet wrapped in bacon. I could hardly eat all of it. It was so
You better
much.
get all the red meat eating talk done now before Mike gets here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's
That's
probably
right.
gonna tell you
but
not
now
to be
he's
eating
not.
that.
I know, but he's not. As long as it's lean and see.
Okay.
The fillet is very lean. Now the bacon wrapped around
bacon?
it's not very lean.
Okay.
But boy, I had that last night, and Mike, you've eaten there with me a few times, haven't you? Hello.
Did we lose him?
We must have lost him.
Where
He
did you
must-
eat?
What,
Uh-oh. Call us back, Mike.
we're going to take evidently he's got some problems.
You
We're
know
going to
what?
take a short
Oh,
break.
okay.
We'll be right back.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Well, yeah, and we'll pick up here, and you'll pick up here.
Okay.
It won't be a problem.
Are we back?
Back to our show, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, talking about some meat, some great red meat.
Speaking of red meat,
And speaking of red meat, they got sirloin tip roast at Piggly Wiggly for $2.69 a pound. They've got fried drumsticks or thighs. Boy, I love to grill them. 69 cents a pound. Boy, what a deal there. Assorted cut pork chops, $1.19 a pound. Your sirloin tip steaks. This is a great deal. You get them to cut you some thick, $2.99. Bryan Jumbo Franks, 2 for $3. We got center cut pork chops, $1.49 a pound. Baby back ribs, $2.69 a pound. And all of this, of course, how about this? Hotel sliced bacon, at Sunnyland. Anytime you can get bacon 2 for $6, buy it as much as you can, because bacon is getting to be expensive.
it is.
And that is a good buy on bacon. Sliced turkey or ham today, 2 for $4. And fresh rolled sausage. This is Gwaltney sausage, 5 for $5. Again, all of this and more savings today at Piggly Wiggly on North 39th Street and in the Marketplace Shopping Center. Remember, cost plus 10% at Piggly Wiggly. And I tell you, you go in and people look at steaks on the counter and they look good and everything, but what I do, I say, hey, cut me a steak. Cut me a steak an inch or inch and a half and trim it real good.
Right. Trim the fat off.
Yeah, trim the fat off. Do you know what somebody told me at the meat counter? He said, well, I said, how can you, charge so much less when you get a family pack of steaks?
Right.
He said, well, we don't take the time to trim it as much.
Okay.
Well, if you ask him to cut you a steak, he's going to trim it for you. And if you want a leaner piece of steak, and they'll do it for you at Piggly Wiggly today. And we got the guru coming in here in just a few moments, Mike Phelps, who is former Mr. Alabama,
Wow.
who still probably knows as much about nutrition and proper things to eat as anybody I know. You know, these bodybuilders, and if he shows you these pictures, you'll say, how in the world can anybody do that? Well, he did it, and he continues to watch what he eats.
Right.
And on this show, every Wednesday for the last 4 Wednesdays, we've had him to talk to us about nutrition, about good ways to lose weight and diet. And they've got a new thing going out at Preston's, and that is you can order food, frozen food,
Really?
that is
Prepackaged?
prepackaged.
Right. Okay.
You know, very similar to what you see on TV.
Yeah, and they had that like at Pepper Tree.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in just a few moments. I had a fillet at Preston's last night, and ladies and gentlemen, I've had a fillet a lot of places. I've had a fillet. I mean, I recommend Big Ray's downtown. They have a great fillet too. But the filet I had last night at Preston's was about 8 or 10 ounce filet, and I sat there and I just enjoyed myself. It was so delicious, and I looked at it medium rare, and it was perfect. The color was perfect.
Wow.
You that's how you tell.
You can't beat a good filet.
No question about it, and you get it at Preston. It's not on the menu. It's not on the menu, but you can get a delicious cut of filet wrapped in bacon with a potato, a baked potato, or their famous mashed potatoes, and then I had a delicious salad, and I had some great, just some great food and great atmosphere, and of course they're located right there on 231 South, right here in Troy. We've got a great show for you. Already we have a great show with Virginia. Virginia, yeah, show me what you got.
I just wanted to mention that April is, you may have read it in the newspaper or seen it on Facebook.
Exactly, I saw your picture in the paper.
April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and I just brought a t-shirt that the Child Advocacy Center is selling, and $15. You can get a long sleeve or short sleeve, and it's just a great.
Okay, and that is a good looking.
It is
good looking, and of course the back and the front.
And and the proceeds go to support the Child Advocacy Center. It's a nonprofit company, and they had their open house this week. Yeah. And so it's a great place, and if you have a chance to go by there, you should.
Yeah. You're running for the judge position. Judge Hightower had it for years and years and so forth, and the basic one of the basic things about that position is you see a lot of child abuse,
right?
And you got to be able to handle child abuse.
Right.
Hey, does this child need to be taken away from this family because this family is not
that's right.
doing the right things.
That's right. And one of the great thing about a Child Advocacy Center, and we've had this one here in Troy, I think for 14 or 15 years, but the great thing about that, it's sort of like a hub where law enforcement, the child goes there. It's a child-friendly environment where they have trained professionals that can interview the child that's been potentially or allegedly abused, whether it's physical, sexual, whatever, and they can take the child there where it's not so scary as taking them to the police department. And so, but the police, DHR will be involved, of course, and then they would get in contact with law enforcement, and they can meet at the Child Advocacy Center where the child can be interviewed just one time, and they can record it. Where the child doesn't have to repeatedly be interviewed and to retell, be re-traumatized every time they have to tell.
Well, I tell you, this is very important, and of course that would be one of the main emphasis that I'm sure you'll consider. Once you, if you in that position, was what is in the best interest of this child.
Exactly. Absolutely.
We're going to take a short break. We're going to bring Mike Phelps in here right after this.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new, fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how. Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Quezon to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified Smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza, only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Yeah. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. And also, I want to mention Sisters for lunch today. They've got the buffet, and it is delicious.
Yes,
you know, people tell me, you know, ask me where's a good place to eat. Well, let me tell you, for lunch, you cannot beat Sisters because it's got something for everybody. And we appreciate them being a part of our show. And also Troy Regional Medical Center, one of the great local hospitals in Alabama. And Troy is so fortunate. You know, we look at a lot of these towns, Eufaula, for instance, you know, they don't have near the facilities Troy has. You know, a lot of these towns in this general area do not have health care available, but we do right here in Troy, thanks to the folks at Troy Regional Medical Center. Of course, Mike Phelps has joined us, and Mike, man, you're getting to be a popular guy on there. You want to go ahead and set up some kind of contract? And, yeah, I'm looking at you in those blue jeans. You had a hard time getting in those blue jeans today, didn't you?
Well, honestly, it's harder because the waist is bigger.
Yeah.
I can't fasten.
I wish there was a way we could show you on the screen of when you were a bodybuilder and you actually competed and became Mr. Alabama. Tell us how you got involved in competitive weightlifting.
Well, it's kind of funny. Honestly, I was in junior high school in PE, and we didn't dress out that day because it was raining.
And somebody threw sand in your face.
No. But somebody passed around a muscle magazine, and I saw it.
That's right.
And I was just blown away. I went home and said, "Mama, will you buy me some weights?" And she did. And then, like in 3 years, the first, remember old Pike Fitness Center?
Yeah.
Charles Ash had that. It opened, and then it was over. I mean, I was just a gym rat from then on in.
And of course, you know, and you know, a lot of your friends played football and they were on weight programs, but you know, here you are, you're busting out of the seams. You must have gotten some good direction from somebody that knew about weights and knew about bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's trial and error.
Just like you're going to hear some things today that you need to know, because you can hurt yourself and you can ruin your muscles if you don't understand what's going on.
And I did hurt myself. You know, you just learn as you go, basically. You do things when you start. You don't know what you're doing. I didn't either. It takes years to figure out, you know, how to do things correctly, how to eat. And it's just like anything else in life. The more you do it, the more you learn.
The most important thing for you to know, whether you're a kid or you're an adult, is you've got to work one muscle in a day, and then the next day leave that muscle alone, because it has to have time to break down and rebuild. Isn't that right?
Yeah, especially
when you work out, you're breaking down muscles. Is that right?
If it's resistance training, now cardio type stuff you could do every day. But resistance stuff, break it down, and you want to give that muscle a little time at least to repair itself before you hit it again.
So you're saying that they do use light weights, you know, like 25 pounds or dumbbells or whatever, you could do that?
Yeah, well,
every day?
It depends on the person, you know. If it's if that weight is not heavy to you, you can do it, say, 30, 40 times. You can probably do that every day. It's not going to tear that muscle down. You know, the more intense the workout is, the more that muscle probably needs repair time.
All right, always remember this, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you want to build bulk and big muscles, you use heavy weights, less repetition.
Well, you can build usually more strength that way, but to make the muscles grow, you would need a combination of everything. You need some days where you're doing higher reps, some days where you're doing low reps and heavier weight. That keeps the muscle what's called confused, muscle confusion.
Exactly.
And you'll usually find people that competed like me, all you're concerned with is how you look. It doesn't really matter how much you lift, but they're doing things in a variety of repetitions. Like this week they may do 15 reps. Next week may be heavy and doing 8. So they're changing things up constantly.
But now you're talking about, you know, pretty weights, I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's what inspired you. You started. What is the word we should say? Man, you look real pumped up.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you're pumping air in your muscles.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, and honestly, it's not who's the biggest. Back, I didn't compete in a while now, but I'm too old to do that. But it's really all about how you look. It's not who's got the biggest muscles, who's the most proportioned and symmetrical and all those things is what they're judging.
Right. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former the actor, is still acting quite a bit, and of course former governor of California, was a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
That, of course, that he came here from some foreign country. I don't know exactly where, but he was phenomenal looking. I mean, he was a Hercules type guy.
Yeah.
And by doing that, he became famous, and so forth and everything. But now he was one of these bodybuilders. Now, how did he get pumped up? And you the same way. I mean, I looked at pictures of you, and boy, you are just ripped, man.
I'm not that way now.
They still call it ripped. Boy, you look ripped.
But I honestly like that look back in those days a lot more than I do today. The guys today that are in his, the pros and stuff that bodybuild, to me, are a little bit on the grotesque side. They're too big. It just doesn't.
And women
I don't like that
way.
look.
I don't like the way these women look. I know some of them, and I got a good friend of mine, former cheerleader coach right here at Troy that competes. I mean, she's a lovely girl and she's a beautiful girl, but gosh, I mean, would you want to be ripped like that?
Yes, I would.
You would?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
But now, for we also want to talk about not only weightlifting and power building and whatever, but talk about protein and the things that we need to do as far as our diet goes. Mm-hmm. And what would you recommend for somebody that is wanting to build muscles, but also wants to eat right? And how important is nutrition to weightlifting?
It's by far the most important thing. I would say if you're trying to change the way you look, nutrition is probably 80% of that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the working out part's the small part. There's an old saying, you can't out-train a bad diet. You can go in the gym and kill yourself. If you're still eating poorly, your results are going to be very, very small.
Yeah.
If you nail your diet, you can work out just kind of a medium intensity and get tremendous change.
Really?
It's very much diet more than anything else.
Tell us. There's a lot of folks. You're right. I'm telling you, you're exactly right. You'll want to take some. I like to write down little notes here too, but we'll find some way to do it. There's something we write on.
Okay, we're taking notes.
But you at home, I'm serious now. This guy has been there and done that, and slide those sleeves up a little bit.
No, this shirt is actually my wife. Remember I wore a green shirt.
That's an extra. Is that a 3X?
You know I wore a green shirt here last week and didn't think about the green background. So this morning my wife said, I made me wear it. I said, this shirt sure is tight. She said, yeah, but it won't
Does he look like Hulk or not? Does he look like Hulk or not? Tell us, all right, we were talking the story of Mike Phelps. As a ninth grader, you got interested in weights. And did you work on your own, or did you go to a fitness center?
No, we had, and there wasn't nothing in Troy at the time. That place opened when I was a senior in high school.
But somebody had to advise you, though, didn't they?
I had, when you're that age, you're consumed with how much you can bench press. Every guy wants to know.
Yeah.
So my mom bought me a small, those cheap tubular form.
Ken Williams.
Bench presses and some of those plastic weights. You remember those old plastic weights?
I had them,
and I had it in my room. And I did bench press and curls and maybe a couple of, that's all I needed to do.
Don't tell us how many reps you did.
Yeah. If I had $1 for every rep.
How many hours a day
But back then, you were learning your muscles.
Didn't know what I was doing.
I mean,
had no idea.
I bet you at times, admit this, you couldn't even hardly lift anything. Your muscles were so
Oh yeah, and I would do the same thing every day.
You wanted probably to work out every day, didn't you?
And I didn't understand why I wasn't getting huge, because I was killing myself in there. I'm not growing. Didn't know what I was doing.
Everybody talks about, and of course, I've been there. Believe it or not, I used to be fairly fit when I played ball. And the thing we want to do before we go out on a date is get pumped up. You know, we go back in there and pump up, and do all of this isometric and pump up because hey, we wanted in that band line shirt, we wanted to be to see a little bulk there. You know what I'm saying? So you were working for bulk. How?
Yeah, when I was younger, all I cared about was getting bigger. I didn't know proportion, any of that. I didn't know any of that stuff. I just knew I wanted to get bigger.
When did you figure out you were damaging your muscle?
Well, when the gym opened, honestly, there was some guys in the gym that knew a lot more than me. Sure. Some older people.
You didn't have the internet back then either.
Yeah, that's right, and that's good and bad. But but there was a couple of guys in there. Buddy and myself were working out together, and we must have been doing arms for an hour.
Yeah.
And
you were pumped up.
He finally he said, "How many sets?"
Those veins
yeah. He said, "How many sets are you doing of arms today?" I said, "We're doing 20 sets of biceps and 20 of triceps."
Oh boy!
And I thought he was going to pat me on the back, and he goes, "You're doing way too much work. You're overtraining. You're never going to get anywhere." And it just stunned me. I was like, "That's the first I heard."
Break the muscle down and let
just
it
doing
build
too
back
much
up.
work. So that's when I started learning how to do things. And
well, like there's not just one, or you've got the regular curl, but then the other curl that makes it look pretty, especially with this muscle back here, is that reverse curl. You know? So you were constantly doing all this, weren't you?
Well,
and you were doing this. Hardly anybody does this anymore, but you were doing a lot of reps, probably with military, to build that trap. What is that muscle right there?
Your trapezius.
Yeah.
Your
Oh yeah. So see. Look at the trap. Reach over there and show him that trap. Show him what you were trying to do. That's that trap. And that's why when you look at a guy like Schwarzenegger, anybody look at you, there's where that muscle is right there.
But it really, back in those days, all you wanted to have was big arms and a big chest.
Yeah.
And as you get into
it, a lot of times you don't work those legs out.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And they're just little old bitty. You look you don't look as good that way. Do you?
Yeah, for a second, just forget about kind of how you look. You want to work your entire body, if for no other reason, for health.
Yeah.
You have one muscle group that's strong and the opposing muscle group that's weak. Your injury's coming. You're gonna have some back trouble. All kind of things are gonna happen from an opposing muscle group not being worked as adequately as the one on the other side. Yeah. So when you work out, you got to work your entire body, not just your biceps and chest. It has to be a planned thing.
But now, I always heard that you work the upper body one day and the lower body the next day. Is that right?
There's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. It's just your upper body has a lot of body parts.
I have a question about that. The Troy Rec Center has got the circuit training.
And he's very impressed with it too.
It's very nice. And I can't lift free weights. I mean, I don't even try.
Yeah,
but what would you say is the best way to do the circuit training? I mean, is that just do the whole circuit every day, or every other day, or like he was saying, break it up?
I would change it. It depends on how much time you've got. We talked last week about hitting each body part once a week. So, for instance, let's say you're going in a day, you're going to do upper body. Well, today you may say, well, I've got time to do my arms, my bicep and tricep. That's all the time I've got to do. So you do the machines that just work your arms. And you could do several things in a row, then stop. Or you could do a heavier set, just one set, then stop and rest. Change it up all the time. You could do some, like a true circuit is where you really don't stop. You do this, you get off that one, you do this one. You get off that one, you do this. It is, but I wouldn't do it every time. I would, like today I did the circuit. Next week I'm going to do one machine at a time. I'm going to go heavier and more intense or whatever. So change it. Don't do that same circuit every time you work out.
All right. Now, those old days, three sets of 5 reps. 3 sets of 5 reps, Do you actually do 3 sets, your first set, and then wait and do the other set, or do you move on to something else?
Well,
do you even do that?
Yeah,
that was the old way to do it.
You could do 5 reps. Again, I wouldn't do it every workout.
Yeah.
I would fluctuate the weights and the reps and the rest between sets. Change that all the time. But it just depends on really what your goal is. Most people, you ask them what they want to do. If they walk in the gym, if you ask 10 people that come in the gym, what are you here for? In so many words, they're going to say, I want to change the way I look. That's right. Yeah. They're not there to improve their mile run time. They want to change the way they look. So you advise them accordingly. Well, basically what you've got to do is muscle confusion. Keep your body, not acclimated to what you're doing. So next time you kind of shocked your body differently you did the time before. So the 5-rep thing is okay. Yeah. Next time you may want to do 10 reps and change the exercises.
Which, a guy like me just is concerned about tone. We just lose our muscles. Thank goodness I haven't lost them completely, but I grab friends sometimes and there's no muscle there. They have not developed their muscles, and there's no tone there, and it does have even if you lift it a little bit, just to keep the tone up, you'd look better, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it does so. Your metabolism is your muscle. So as you lose muscle, you're slowing your metabolism.
All right, let's talk to us about that. Everybody's wanting to hear is diet.
Diet.
Not necessarily, but what do you eat that helps you become the way you look?
Well, there's not a one-size-fits-all diet, but there are some principles that work for almost everybody, assuming you're in decent health and don't have health problems, of course. You got slow thyroid, it's a different issue altogether. So you want to eliminate things like sugar. Sugar is your #1 enemy when you're trying to reduce body fat and keep your health.
Yeah.
You don't want to cut your fats out. People go on these no-fat diets. Your body needs fat. So what you want to do is start with like a low to moderate amount of fat spread out during the day. Good fats.
So a filet wrapped in bacon?
Well, the bacon is always going to be a bad fat, but I love bacon. So.
I had that big filet, and I love bacon too.
Yeah.
And boy, how can you go to Bird Drugs without eating their bacon?
Yeah,
oh man.
And I love bacon. Let me go on the record to say that I eat bacon.
Well, Bird Drugs got the best bacon in the world. I'm telling you.
But you want to keep your bad fats down as much as you need. Some small amounts of saturated fat because it hormonally has some effects on your body, but you don't want massive amounts of them. So that steak is not going to kill you. You don't want to go in there and eat 2 pounds of bacon. That's very bad for your health, and you're going to store some body fat from that.
They don't have Preston's doesn't have the filet on the menu, but it is fabulous. But if you said with the bacon, that is good lean meat.
Right.
And you said as long as that meat is lean, you can eat steak.
There's nothing wrong with steak. It's a great source of protein and other things you may not get in other meats. You get creatine, iron, and that kind of things.
Is there a difference between plant-based fats like avocado and bacon?
Yeah.
Is one better than the other?
Yeah, you've got basically in make things simple, saturated and unsaturated fats. Fats in things like avocados, nuts. Those are good fats.
Yeah, I know, but like butter is real bad. Is that right?
Yeah, but butter's better than eating these butter substitutes.
Yeah.
Like things like margarine and things. Butter, at least it's all natural. It's made from the milk products and stuff. But the good fats she's talking about, like your avocados and nuts, you need those kinds of fats, just not in massive doses.
Yeah. All right, but give us a good basic, a diet that you think is 80% of what we're talking about.
All right, I would eat lean meats.
And of course, we're also going to get into something that they're offering at Preston's that is can change your whole life in the way you eat, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
But just good basic. If you started over right now, and with your knowledge now, tell us what you would eat.
I would eat lean meats, and that could be chicken breast, turkey breast.
Without the fat on it, is that right?
Yeah, you're going to trim the fat off. Yeah. You're still going to get some on there. That's not a giant deal. Turkey breast, chicken breast, pretty much any kind of seafood is great.
Yeah.
As a good source of
lean meat. Boy, they had
meat.
Crawfish last night at Preston's, and boy, you wouldn't believe how many people came in there. And I was watching them. I said, I got to see how you do it, and boy, they would open that up and see that big old piece of, you get the whole piece of crawfish. That is delicious.
Yeah, and Robbie goes down to the coast and gets those.
Yeah, and they do that every Tuesday.
Yeah, but he and other than fish, lean cuts of red meat. There's nothing wrong with that. Deer, anything that's lean meat is a good source. And I would also eat. I would not eliminate starchy carbs. because when you're trying to build muscle, you do want some insulin production.
Would that be a baked potato?
Yeah, potatoes or anything that's starchy. That's things like corn, potatoes, rice, oatmeal. You know, any kind of red beans.
Regular white rice or
well, again, yeah, but it's portion control. The white rice is going to convert to sugar faster than the brown rice. But it's portion control. You don't want
the only
large
thing
amounts.
you can really eat a lot of is lettuce in a salad. If you want to eat a lot of something.
I call those things fibrous carbs. And those are things like asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, collards, turnips, any kind of lettuce, string beans, all those things you could eat much larger portions of, because you can get a plate of broccoli and you got 5 grams of carbs in the whole plate.
So we're looking a little bit like the Atkins diet, but you say that you still need some carb, and you're gonna accidentally get some carbs, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. Even if you eat almonds, almonds has some trace amounts of carbs in them. But you was asking me like that, what would I do? I would keep the starchy carbs in. Now, the Atkins diet, which is a ketosis diet, where you train your body to burn fat for fuel all day long. Those are very effective. The problem with those are, in my opinion, it's not practical. You can't do that for a long period of time. Eventually, you're going to want a potato or something. So I do those things for short periods of time to kind of hit a
But it's something that you said the other day. It might have been a couple of weeks ago, and of course, we need to take all these tapes and put them together. Is that you can treat yourself at least once a week.
The faster your metabolism, the more cheat meals you can have.
Yeah.
So the goal is to do whatever you got to do. Let's say you pick 90 days. You say for 90 days, I'm going to have tunnel vision, and I'm only going to do the things that's going to get me to my goal the fastest. When your metabolism is faster after 90 days, then you blow through and burn through food so much more efficiently. So then you can have those cheat meals more often. Got to get your metabolism faster first, though, before you do those things.
Yeah. That's right. And of course, people say stay away from everything that's white. This is for losing weight, and it's the truth. Sugar is the worst enemy in the world. I read that article on it recently. So if you can just do away with sugar, you've done a lot right there.
Right. But you think about this. This is an interesting little thing you can find on the internet. You look at people like, for instance, in China.
Exactly.
They don't eat carb-free diets, but they don't consume all the sugar we consume.
Yeah.
So by and large, they're a much leaner population, but they're eating the carbs.
Yeah.
It's the sugar. Everything we have has added sugar in it, and it's destroying people, both health-wise and making us a very obese society.
And then we're talking about those donuts. It's another what do they call it? Flour. What do they call it that you should stay away from? Anything that's
that white flour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
processed food.
But again, if you have a faster metabolism, when you're going to have that occasional donut and cake, that's not going to kill you. It's just the lifestyle of constant sugar that's killing us.
All right, I'm you, and I'm trying to become a bodybuilder. Another very important thing is drink a lot of water. Is that right?
Right.
What does that do for you?
It does a lot of things. One thing it does that I tell people all the time
very important.
If most people salt their food, I do too, because I love salt.
Yeah.
Well, that can be very dangerous for you. If you are dehydrated, which means if you go to the bathroom and use the bathroom and your urine's yellow, you're dehydrated. Unless you've just taken some vitamins recently.
I'm dehydrated. I don't drink as much water as I need to.
And I don't
either.
either.
It's hard to make yourself do it. But that has a lot to do with your metabolism.
Yeah, so when you're dehydrated, your body has its own defense mechanism. It thinks, I'm thirsting to death.
Let me use an example. The water is almost like the oil you put in the car.
Yeah, that's right.
Think about it. Isn't that right?
That's right. So your body thinks it's thirsting to death. So what does it do? It retains fluids, which causes other problems.
Exactly.
So when you do the opposite, when you overhydrate your body with excess water, your body thinks, I'm drowning. Yeah. So it flushes all the excess.
The more
sodium.
you go to the bathroom, the better.
Yeah. It's very hard to drink too much water.
As far as liquid. Is that right?
Yeah. If you drink a gallon of water a day, and here's what makes that sound so much easier than it actually sounds when I say a gallon. a bottle of water, 8 of those a day, the typical size of a bottle of water is about a gallon.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you're up 16 hours a day. You're less than that probably, because 8 hours sleep most folks don't get anymore. So 16 hours a day you're up. That means you drink half a bottle of that water every hour. That don't sound like much. And you've gotten your gallon in for the day.
And I see, I was with a friend of mine last night. She's probably watching today because I told her you're going to be on here. And people starting to watch now. I'm telling you, this getting to be something that, well, gosh, it comes from somebody that has a lot of knowledge. This guy has studied it. This guy has lived it. Let me tell you, these doctors out there, this old doctor out there with midriff bulge like I've got, hey, he didn't live it like this guy's done. But again, she just carried around this container everywhere she goes. And if you'll get in the habit of that, water is fuel for the fire. I mean for the body. Isn't that right?
Right. And you'll also find that you'll find it's very much easier to lose body fat when you're overhydrated. That water is, I would say, cutting sugar out is number one. I would say 1A is getting lots of water in every day.
Well, let me ask you this. Urinating. You don't urinate a lot unless you drink a lot of liquid or water. Is that right?
Right. And some of the things we drink, like I love coffee.
Yeah, I like coffee.
Basically
is that okay
diuretic.
too?
I mean, it's okay, but you don't want to use it as your liquid source because
I know what I'm saying. Can I sort of count it toward if we're counting coffee?
Yeah.
If I counted coffee, honey. honey. If I counted coffee, I'd drink a gallon a day.
Yeah. You need to get your water in over and above your coffee.
Yeah, I got you.
And if you drink like some diet sodas and things, and regular sodas are horrible because they're loaded in sugar.
And I hate to say this, but one of the best things you can drink is beer. Is that right?
Well, it's actually not very bad for you.
Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hi, I just called back.
Mike, we've got Mike Phelps on the phone, and you need to listen to this about as much as anybody I know. And it's talking about midriff bulge. He's talking about midriff bulge.
But no,
we're talking about nutrition, Mike, and
my biggest problem is I grew up in a buffet family.
Yeah, I know it. And I was already advertising Sisters today. But you know one thing about Sisters, it's the best place to eat in town because you've got a selection. A lot of vegetables. My wife is on the Atkins, sort of on the Atkins diet. She watches herself quite a bit, and you've got a selection. I love. Some of the things, rutabagas. I love rutabagas.
Yeah. And that's what's good about a buffet too, because you can pick and choose what you want to eat.
All right, what is it?
Dad, my birthday's Friday. You go ahead and buy me 10 meals, and I'll try it out. I'll see how I do.
Exactly. Well, and in fact, we're going to mention that in just a few moments. Well, let's go ahead and do that right now.
Okay. Well, Robbie Richburg, who owns Preston's, and I, a few weeks ago, started what's called Preston's Pro Meals. It's a whole separate venture for the most part, but what it is, it's a meal prepping service. So it's not like you typically, like you would order from Preston's, go pick it up or go dine in. It's for people who want to eat healthier during the week, but either don't know how, or maybe they know how, but they don't want to cook. Or they don't have time to cook. So we have very healthy meals that you can choose from, or you can customize and pick and choose from the veggies to make your own meal. And we'll fix them for you, as many as you want. You tell us how many you want. They're cooked and they're placed in microwavable containers. And then you say, like you order some today, for instance. We'll say, all right, come by tomorrow afternoon. They'll be ready for you. They'll be in the cooler, ready for them. Your name's on them. Whatever, how many you buy. If you bought 10. You come by and here they are. Now you put them in your fridge.
Yeah, that could be chicken with green beans.
That's right.
And maybe asparagus.
And all the plates that we have like 12 meals that have certain things in them. And if you don't see any combinations you want, you can create your own. But all the meals are low in carbohydrates. Most of them will have anywhere from 30 to 40 total grams of carbs in the entire meal. They're high in protein. And they give you both a protein, a small starchy carb, and a larger veggie carb portion. Now you could get 2 veggie carbs. You can get 2 starch. You can make it like you want it. But they are designed to be very healthy meals. There's no sugar involved in it. There's no kind of a grease or fat added to them. There's nothing that's unnatural used in it. It's very healthy.
One of the yuppie places in America, he lived there for the last 10 years, Fairhope. Fairhope is a yuppie community, and Fairhope is where people are watching what they eat. This is huge in Fairhope. Yeah, and it's huge. And what I'm saying, it's all about convenience.
Right.
They can walk. They can pull up. Can they just pull up and say, "I want this, 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 this"?
Yeah, and you can actually order online.
Sally lives in Fairhope.
She does.
I know it.
Yuppie.
She does.
It's Mike next to 30A. It's the yuppiest place I know.
Yeah, and it really is. But you can do. You can order them online. You can email me your order. You can go online to our Facebook page, send an order through that message system, and then we'll prepare them.
Packages like certain amount.
Yeah, they're in.
A certain amount of money?
Well, that's a good question. Right now, what we have is if you were to buy several meals a week and you spent $200, you get a 10% discount. We're going to work toward a more graduated thing so that there's different levels of discounts. We're also working at adding a couple of different meals that is going to enhance the menu. And I want to tell you about one of them. It's going to be a spaghetti squash, and it's going to have turkey meatballs with marinara sauce. And it's going to be very good. Give us a couple of weeks, probably have that one ready. That's going to be one, and working on one more that's hopefully like a little salmon cake type thing.
Even if I would think the best meal, if you're going to miss out on any meal, the best meal to miss out on is dinner, supper. Is that right?
Well, again,
or not to eat as much. What I'm saying, like that, if that was a good meal, you have that for supper. Is that right?
Yeah, and again, a lot of stuff you see is a one-size-fits-all thing. My opinion is, if you've got a really fast metabolism, you can eat what you want to and go to bed. It's not going to affect you hardly any.
All right, now what do you mean by fast metabolism?
Metabolism simply.
We're adults out here, and one has got to be.
Your metabolism, in simple terms, basically is how efficiently and how fast or whatever you burn through food.
Yeah.
So when you think of a fire. If you've got a fire that's kind of smoldering, that's a picture of a slow metabolism.
Yeah.
If you've got one that's flaming on fire, that's a fast metabolism. Yeah. So the way you get your metabolism faster is only one way, and that's to increase your lean body mass percentage. So if you're 25% body fat and you went to 22% body fat, you've now got a faster metabolism because your lean body mass percentage is higher.
At one time, what was your body fat?
When I competed, I was down around 5.5.
We're talking about 5% of your body was fat.
And that's really too lean. But you had to be that lean to do the contest.
Were you healthy? When you were in your top form, did you feel good?
Honestly, you're healthy in about the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I wish we had those pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, you would not believe this guy. What did you say now?
I said you're healthy in the contest stuff. You're healthy in up to about the last 2 or 3 weeks because you're so lean and you're so fatigued.
And you're trying to lose weight too, aren't you?
And then as soon as the show's over, you're funneling food in your face as fast as you can. Put some weight back on.
But did you feel healthy, and did you feel like, or were you stiff? Were you real stiff?
No, not stiff at all. Matter of fact, when you lose a bunch of body fat and lose weight, you become way more flexible. You can move easier. I was, even when I finished competing, I stopped competing 7 years ago, and I was not real young then, but I could run like a deer when I was, you just feel better.
With all that bulk, and ladies and gentlemen, hey, look how bulky he is right now, but he had it out to here. Did you breathe well?
Oh yeah. Now the heavier I got, like honestly, I'm 254 pounds right now. And that's a little heavier than I want to be.
Sure.
I'm leaning more towards I want to be leaner and that kind of thing, and I just eat too much. But when you are
Preston's all the
time. But when you are the heavier you get, it does a couple of things. It makes your cardiovascular endurance horrible. It makes your heart work harder because you got more mass to try to pump blood to.
How about your blood pressure when you were at your peak?
It was excellent. Because when you lose a bunch of weight and your body fat's low, usually, unless
did you worry about low blood pressure though?
No, I didn't. I would get around usually I was around 120/70, which is perfect. Which is very good blood pressure. And I never got over about 140 over, say, 90, even when I was like 260 and
Did you run much and get, I mean, of course, I know your heart beats hard, you know, when you're working out and all that, but did you run much?
I didn't run, but I did do cardio. I would do a
Bicycle,
treadmill or walk in the neighborhood briskly or a stationary bike. I did that a lot when I was trying to get very lean.
Exactly right. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Mike Phelps, who born and raised here in Troy, and of course went into wanted to get be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had to have some heroes. Who were some of them?
Yeah, all those guys. All the guys in the magazines.
Schwarzenegger, now, he had the huge biceps and the huge...
Schwarzenegger shot his movie in Birmingham when, you know, when that weightlifting movie, what was it called?
Yeah, Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron. That was all through downtown Birmingham. The whole movie was shot here.
Did he just have open heart surgery?
Yeah, he did. He got something replaced in his heart that he had put in there.
You know, hey, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. You can talk all you want to about health, but let me tell you this. Heart disease, a lot of it's in your genes. It don't matter how much weight you work out and all that.
Yeah.
If it's in your genes, you better get checked out.
There's some things you're predisposed to. Like I have a buddy of mine who stays lean, and you look at him and you say, my gosh, you're in great shape. But his blood pressure without medication stays around 160 over 100.
Yeah.
He just has built into him, he has blood pressure issues.
Exactly. So if you've got heart disease in your family, you need to have doctor's care and probably need to take some medicine.
That's right. Those are very few people. I would say probably 1-2%, but they do exist.
Yeah, exactly right. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Virginia Green Nowling right here to my left is, of course, been on this show many times. In fact, she won one of the football contests, and Mike, she went to had a big meal at Bo B. Graves. Tell us about it. Did you enjoy it?
A filet wrapped in bacon.
Exactly. And then of course Jim Jackson won the other contest, and he took 3 of his friends. And they had a feast, you know, and so forth. And of course we appreciate all of our support sponsors, and of course we're talking health and physical training pretty much on this show today, and. You know,
and we have law call if you have any legal.
Law call.
That's right. That's right. If you got any questions for Virginia, please call in. But you know, let's get back to Mike. I want you to hear this. You say 80% of it is nutrition.
Yeah.
All right. So what are the nutritions we should be conscious of more than anything? You've already told us a lot of it. Lean foods, portion control,
especially on your starchy carbs.
Yeah. All right. Everybody said, "Well, I'll starve to death." Well, they can eat as much salad as they want.
Yeah, and you know, if you eat salad all the time, you're going to be in the bathroom all day long too.
Are you really?
You get too.
But you know what? The bathroom is a part of your metabolism, though. Hey, let me tell you this: you need to go to the bathroom. Isn't that right? True. You know, somebody that says, "Well, I'm going to the bathroom all the time," he's in pretty good health. Those that said, "Well, I haven't been to the bathroom in a long time,"
well, that's
are
very true.
in trouble.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
true.
Right?
She mentioned salad dressing, and that's the problem that makes salad so unhealthy, because most salad dressings, not all of them, are very high in both bad fats and sugar. So you got this healthy salad with lean meats and things in it, and then you destroy it by putting the...
How about vinegar and oil? Is that
that's
the way to
a pretty
go?
good salad dressing. That'd be way better than things like ranch and Thousand Islands and French and those kind of things.
And you recommend vinegar every day, don't you?
Drink apple cider
about
vinegar
that much with water every day.
Does that.
It's like an old home remedy thing, because it does a lot of things.
Just do it. Hey, just do it, and I promise you'll have good health. And hey, if you've got to do this, or when you drink it, you know.
It's hard to get down by itself if you're not used to it.
But you know, it's, you know the old word, the chug. Hey, chug it down and.
But talking about salad dressing, if you use that apple cider vinegar and use olive oil and mix those together separate, they're horrible. When you mix them together, they actually make a pretty tasty salad dressing.
Exactly right. So that's important. Other things very quickly that you so you're talking about low carbs and don't and be careful how much you eat. Is that right?
I've got a question about portion control. Okay, just at the size of those meals, because we went through when Blue Apron first came out.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, well, we'll try Blue Apron. Well, I ended up, the portions were so small, my husband had to eat the whole thing.
Right.
He ate his and he ate mine.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's true. That's a great point.
Feed an adult male?
They will. How, for instance, on me, I'm 250 some odd pounds. Like a 4-ounce piece of meat's not enough for me.
Yeah.
So what you can do on the meals, you can upgrade the portions on any of those things. So if you want, let's say you say, hey, I want 6 ounces of meat or whatever, you can do that. If you want a larger portion of starchy carbs, you can do that too. Now it's not on the menu, but you can do it. You can tell them I want a larger portion.
All right, before we forget this now, before our time runs out, I want to make sure we get a telephone number they can call and order this food. And now the containers, do you bring the containers back?
No, you just keep them. They're microwavable containers.
Oh, okay, so you're going to give them the container
Yeah, and I tell you where we buy them from. I give them a plug. Emery Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
My brother-in-law.
Yeah,
That's right.
he is
my next door neighbor.
He supplies a lot of our food and things like that, and I like
talking
Emery a
about
lot.
This is a great thing that Kelly's out of Elbow is doing, and you know they do a great job. The quality of their food is wonderful.
Yeah, but the containers are microwavable and they seal very good, so it's very hard to turn it over for it to spill. And so you just stick them in the microwave and heat them up.
Yeah,
that means my mother's going to collect those because she likes, she'll keep old butter containers.
Oh yeah.
And my wife does that, and I don't understand it.
But again, throw some foods out real quick that you can't eat. Now, I've always heard that you don't need to eat anything that's grown underground. Why is that?
Well,
and that includes carrots, and that includes
and I don't agree with that. They're saying that because those things like white potatoes, carrots, and so forth, they convert to sugar faster than other things.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, now if you're diabetic, that's a whole different subject completely.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you take those things in small portions, you're not going to store body fat by eating a small portion of potato.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. If people eat too much of those things, is what it is. They'll eat them all day long.
And again, as long as you got something that's making that metabolism go, as long as that engine is still going, it doesn't really matter that much if you're getting rid of that food.
You've seen these people who are maybe in their 50s and they're 170 pounds and they're lean and they can eat anything. Yeah. Their metabolism is running at
give me about
warp
5
speed.
extra minutes, can you? Let me just say this. And anybody that talks about nutrition, talks about weights, talks about health, diet, going to the bathroom has a lot to do with it. Is that right?
That's true. You should be regular.
Because that's part of your metabolism.
But if you're going 7 times a day, you've probably got a problem.
That's right. But now, I haven't drank 60 ounces of water. But hey, that water's got to go somewhere.
Well, that's true. Now, I would challenge you too, and I'm bad about that too. So I'm not saying, hey, you're not doing that right.
The healthier you get, the whiter that water is. Is that right?
If everybody would just do 1 week, and they're going to make themselves get a gallon of water a day, you'll be stunned.
1 week.
At not only how better you feel, but your body just operates so much more efficiently.
Big Wayne Bolt, you know how big he is. You know, he weighed over 500 pounds at one time, and then he's down to mid 200s, now.
That's
but
amazing.
That's what he told me right off the bat. Drink water, drink water, drink water.
Yep. That's amazing too.
Because
that kind of weight.
It's like gas. It's like putting gas in the car. It don't run unless you've got some.
And it's a habit thing. It's hard to drink water because you're not thirsty. You just got to make yourself drink it.
All right, the doctor the other day told me peanut butter was about as good, especially for people that can't eat sugar. Peanut butter is about the best thing to go to.
Peanut butter, again, now, almost all peanut butter has a lot of added oils and sugars.
And I bought the natural, like you told me, and I turned it upside down, like you told me, and it was delicious. And I got the crunchy.
And you have to get a little used to that because it tastes different. But once you do it for a while, you'll find you like that pretty good. Yeah. But peanuts are an excellent source for good fats, and it has a little protein
I'm
in it
gonna
too.
break your heart. Breads are not good, are they? There's not many breads
if
that are
you're
good.
eating white bread, that's like the equivalent really usually is straight sugar. But I would try, I'm not saying you couldn't eat breads. You want to go to more to whole grain breads. Yeah. And we mentioned Ezekiel bread.
When you see these 12, what is it, 12 and some of them 15 on your bread, what do you call it?
Like vitamins and minerals and things?
Yeah, 12,
the grains?
Yeah, grains.
Well, here's a little trick. If you see white bread and it says enriched, like they've added things. Well, back in the day, they started bleaching the bread because it made it pretty and white, and they could sell more of it.
Yeah.
But when you bleach the bread, you bleach all the vitamins and minerals out. So they started pouring the vitamins and minerals back in the bread when they cook it in the heat, and then the heat promptly killed the liquid vitamins and minerals that they put in there. So it's not getting what you say it is. So the white bread tastes great. I love white bread too. But the whole grain is so much better for you.
Yeah, and of course, but now, didn't you tell me there was a bread out there that that you favor over all bread?
Ezekiel bread. It's a bread that's.
You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I've never had it before.
It's usually in the frozen section, of the grocery store. And
his wife eats it.
Yeah, and it's it's a little expensive now. Honestly, it's a little higher than it's not going to be the same price as like.
But bread is not good for you. That's what everything I read. Is that right?
Well, you got some people. The gluten thing is a giant topic now. Well, the gluten is basically in wheat, rye, and barley. But the problem with gluten is that only about 1% statistically of people have real trouble digesting those two proteins that are in those things. Kind of makes it have that hold together elasticity.
Exactly.
And that celiac disease is what they have. They can't process that.
I know we're talking a little bit about the same thing every week, but how interesting is this? Now, let me tell you, this is coming from a guy that has had his body down to 5% of fat, which is unbelievable. But you still watch a lot of the little things. What do you stay away from other than sugar? What is the second thing you want to stay away from?
I try to stay. Let me just say this: I'm not eating as strict as I was back then. And if I took my shirt off, you'd see that I'm not eating as well as I used to. But sugar's number one. Excess saturated fats.
What would that be?
Fats on meats. Large amounts of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Not saying you don't need to cut them out completely, but just don't have large portions of saturated fats. Mayonnaise.
Stay away from mayonnaise.
It's all fat, and it's all bad fat typically.
Stay away from mayonnaise.
And whole milk.
Deviled eggs. Now, why would deviled eggs be bad?
Mayonnaise in it.
Yeah.
Take the mayonnaise out, and the eggs is great though. But
exactly.
Things like whole milk. Whole milk is.
Yeah, I don't drink whole milk.
It's almost all fat, and it's bad fat.
Whole milk tastes like a milkshake to me.
It's so thick.
After you drink. Completely what kind is it? Zero fat?
Like a skim milk?
Yeah, all right. I've drank skim milk for a long time, and others so thick. So you tell me that eggs are great.
Absolutely, maybe the most perfect food in my opinion.
And so what I'm saying now, we're talking about eggs. You can eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
But what else?
And people, doctors now are changing their
almond is
opinion
good.
on cholesterol in eggs. Almonds are excellent. It's good fat.
You go to Troy University and get a great omelet every day.
The thing about good fats like almonds and nuts and all, you need those things. Yeah. But don't eat a pound of them. You take I got 20 almonds. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat 20 more 6 hours
How about cashews? Are they good too?
Yeah, any kind of nut typically is a good choice for a healthy fat.
Yeah. And of course, that's another substitute for sugars. If you can't eat, that's the hardest thing in the world to stay away from is sugar. And everything.
Because it makes you crave more sugar.
What should you drink? Water.
Water, and nothing wrong with coffee and tea. You want to drink tea that's not loaded with sugar, though.
All right, green tea. A lot of things that I read, they tell me that green tea is good for you.
Yep, green tea. It actually has what's considered some mild. I hate to use the word fat burning. Nothing actually goes in and burns fat. But things like cinnamon, green tea have some mild fat burning properties.
Yeah. All right, give me your phone number, how people can reach you and about this.
Okay. And by the way, anybody who wants the Preston's Pro meals, I will help you design your meals, and it don't cost you a cent for me to help you. But my number is 251-767-2845. 888-445. If you can't get me, you can get a hold of Preston's or Robbie. You know, they can find me somewhere.
Exactly. And of course, that's Mike Phelps, and he can help. And then you can put them on a weight program too.
Yeah, and if they want to do, you know, I train 3 or 4 folks on the side.
Yeah.
And so I don't take on a lot of people.
If you're serious about bodybuilding, he's the place to go, because you've been there and done that.
Yeah, and I help a few people that compete. You know, I tell them, I walk them through the contest prep, but most people don't compete. You got to be a little bit warped and weird like I was to compete. Yeah. Most folks just want to get in shape. So that's the majority of people I help.
Out of all the things about people working with weights and doing bodybuilding, what would you the thing you would recommend that they not do?
I would not do exercise programs that put your body in a compromised state where you're going to get injured. If you have any age on you at all, let's say 40 and up, in my opinion, you've got no business doing exercises that employ like Olympic lifts and things that you need months to perfect your form on, doing plyometrics, jumping on and off boxes. You got no business doing that. There's other things you can do that are just as effective. So your workout needs to be programmed properly based on your condition and your age.
And you're much better using a machine to do bench presses than real weights, because you can get hurt with real weights.
And you can, what you do is you can build up to, you need a combination of both of them. But start with the machines. Let's get some strength built, then you can move on and add some other exercises in there.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Yes, sir. I enjoyed it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
good to see you again.
And of course, hey, come back next Wednesday. I like what you. Are
you going to have steak and eggs out here?
Enjoy what you're saying, and at least I tell you what, I'm totally attentive, aren't you?
I sure am.
I appreciate it. I don't know everything, but
I tell you what, when I go to that counter and I reach for that strawberry pie, and somebody pulls me back.
McDonald's sweet tea.
See, our show airs again today at 1:30, and tell your friends to hook on. And this new program, this is very similar to Nutra's.
It is. It's a smaller scale, obviously, but as we grow,
what do you call it?
Yeah, as we grow, the menu will expand.
Exactly right. And of course, the food is good. And remember, what you get from them is healthy, and that's what we're all concerned about.
Right.
Good health. See you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in LA.